I see a vacuum there, the way I saw a vacuum for print or digital print media with the Western Standard. We're trying to now fill it there. So we're trying to emulate what you're doing, Andrew, because you've established a great, irreverent, really fun, free-flowing talk show. Not blowing too much up your ass here, but each has got its niche here, and that's why while we are competitors, it's a very collegial competition because we're offering very different products.
Yeah. Could I just say something too? Is that it seems like they're getting worse. That it seems like we're getting actually better at what we do. Obviously, post-millennials new. We're still learning our way around the block a little bit. But when you go on CBC and just read what they're saying and what they're putting out, these articles that are so out of touch from what regular people like. I mean, they put an article out that went down underneath everyone's radar because nobody reads them. They're just saying that Joe Rogan uses horse dewormer, saying that Black women should be working from home because they're protected from microaggressions, and that that Black women have battle fatigue from getting questions about their hair. I mean, these people are so out of touch, and they're doubling down on their insanity. Well, it just seems like our message is becoming more and more effective. And honestly, the crazier they get, the better it is sometimes for us, because we can point at and say, look at how crazy those guys are. That's we're competing against. Why are we doing that? These people are nuts.
You know what? I tell our team all the time, we exist because the mainstream media is so terrible. And so, you go to these places and they're often a little bit prickly, the mainstream media, when we actually get allowed into places, and they sort of look down their nose a little bit at you. But I wouldn't be there if they were better. So if they want me to go away, please get better. That's all. Just try to be better. And maybe there wouldn't be a space for me, but they're not ones to adjust their behavior based on viewer feedback now, are they?
Yeah, I want to jump in on this, actually, because one challenge in Canada, and in the U.S. it's very different because media criticism is a big thing in the U.S. You've got cable news shows that have entire staff positions dedicated to watching other news outlets and then reporting on their reporting. It's that idea of who minds the minders. And a lot of that is I think, very incestuous and overly introspective, but I do think there is a place for it, for actually serving as a bit of a check on media coverage, and especially since they're so quick to jump in with their Facebook fact checks and all of these other things and denounce things that in many cases are true. But even just pointing out the tone that media is taking, this is just one example from the last couple of days, a CBC story: gender fluid dressing could lead to renaissance in fashion, says advocate. Now, setting aside that media outlets can cover whatever they want, this is CBC, the state broadcaster, however much $1 billion in funding to learn about the gender fluid fashion trend. Probably not money well spent, I would say. But for the most part, even if people didn't like that, no one would ever challenge CBC. No one would ever report on CBC funding, about the decline in the CBC audience, about all of these things that are part of it. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Derek, the only people that really pay attention to a lot of these things and the problems in the media status quo are independent outlets.
Yeah, the one exception was briefly Sun News Network in its time.
Yes, yeah, that's fair.
I mean, they went after the CBC so often that even I almost got sick of it. It was glorious. But what that experiment proved is that if you're going to operate in a media form, if you're going to use a medium of media that requires government licensing, it's highly unlikely that disruptors, especially non-establishment disruptors, are going to be successful. For Sun News Network to have been successful, they needed to get mandatory carriage license just to have an even playing field with the CBC, CTV, Global, Omni, million things in Quebec. It didn't work out, and they were offering an alternative, even though they were. I mean, it's hard to, Sun News Network and Fox News are hard to classify because they're kind of mainstream because they're big and corporate, but they shy away from being considered mainstream. So they're kind of hard to pigeonhole in a sense. But the real lesson from Sun News Network was that if there's going to be disruptors, they're going to have to be aggressive upstarts. They're going to have to. They might. We've managed to achieve a bit of investment in us, but it's not a ton. We started with nothing. I think it's a similar story for everybody else on this panel, the organizations they're representing. Well, the Rebel itself was born out of the ashes of Sun News Network. I remember Ezra sending out a tweet more or less saying, "Screw you guys, I'm starting my own media with blackjack and weapons." And, and I was like, well, here's Ezra being Ezra. And then look what happened. I couldn't believe what happened. Like, the Rebel became huge. So these things have to be a combination of genuinely independent. They have to be underdogs, I think, to succeed. You're not going to succeed by, like the National Post was a valiant attempt under Conrad Black to take on the mainstream media, but that got caught up in all sorts of corporate controversy, and now Post media is probably the least bad of the big guys. It's got a few bright spots that right in there on their opinion side, but their news side is just mainstream paplum, eating the same crap, not doing much. So,
but I would take from that, even if they were exactly where you wanted them to be on content, the problems that you outlined earlier on business model and ownership are still going to be there. And I think the demise of Sun and the start of Rebel is a good way to talk about the business model. And I'll go to you on this first, Sheila, because I know that one of the things Rebel did very uniquely, because we're talking about 2015 when Rebel was built in Ezra's living room and has since grown considerably from there. It was entirely not dependent on the traditional infrastructure of mandatory carriage of the CRTC. It was based on donations, on subscriptions, and on some advertising. But I don't think
boring. You guys were supposed to be like super duper fun.
Here, Starbucks.
The Trump fever dream lives on in the minds of the Laurentian elite here in Canada, and the media use COVID as another opportunity to push even more socialism in our already socialized healthcare system. It's Fake News Friday. I'm Candice Malcolm, and this is The Candice Malcolm Show. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into the podcast. Now, this show, the Fake News Friday show, is our favorite show here at the Candice Malcolm Show. It gives us an opportunity to look back at the legacy media, go through some of the most bizarre headlines of the week, and just sort of dissect all of the various
Welcome, my friend.
30 in the afternoon. I'm still alone. I'm gone now. I was once now it's dark. I remember something.
uniquely, because we're talking.
Okay. Oh dear. Oh my god, I'm sleeping. Oh, for fuck's sake. Stress levels in the increasing.
There are many headlines tonight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dear. Mm-hmm.
In an effort to decouple weight from good health,
Just gonna have a
weight
quick cigarette
advocates
real quick.
A quick cigarette real quick. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, I'm so excited.
Your hair is super blonde.
That is very
in
blonde.
an effort
That's
to
cool.
decouple weight
It's
from
very
like your
good health.
fucking
Weight
stacky,
advocates have begun printing "Don't Weigh Me"
You look like a
cards that
snowboard
look
babe.
something like this, which went viral. Now these cards even being
Like,
stacked up
really
at some doctor's offices at
medically
the front desk
necessary.
where patients check in.
That's
All of
hilarious.
this in an effort to not trigger those with weight issues, either
Why?
overweight or
Because-
under. Now this
Oh my
causing concern, especially as
Crazy.
obesity is listed as a comorbidity to this ongoing coronavirus pandemic. So does the scale have any
Don't fall
direct
into it.
correlation to good or bad health? Now here to weigh in is
That's
Dr.
fucking
John
hysterical.
Dombrowski. He's the CEO of the Washington Pain Center
I
and
just
a
can't believe that
practicing
people are
physician
actually
right
like
here
fucking
in
like
the district. Now,
insinuating.
Doctor, I gotta apologize for
It's
the
okay
corny
to
puns because I'm a sucker for
just
those.
let people die.
But help us understand
So you're
what's
trying to
going
save
on here.
lives here?
Have you
Like,
ever been
didn't make any
presented a
sense in
card
your
such as
brain? Like,
this? And
In
while
reality,
this may be
socially,
a
you can't
shift
have that many people.
socially in
But
how
like
you
they're
lose
literally
weight,
getting
is there
excited
any
about
way to
fucking
actually
figure out how to
decouple
use
weight from
resources.
good health?
But like you're getting hurt, like,
No, and to your point, I've not been
and they're like,
shown these
oh, well,
cards. I find this
smoking,
great
like,
news or
fucking
interesting
like
news.
smoking, like
But I
it's
think
like
it does
you
bring up
put
a
the
very
cigarette
good
in their
point
hand.
why patients
begin
will be
with.
triggered if they
They
feel
can't
this way.
really
Maybe
fucking
there's something else
shit. And
psychologically
they're
going
like,
on.
fucking, no, you should stop
And that's
fucking
what we
getting
do as
fucking
physicians
smokers
all the
lunch
time in the practice
Like,
of medicine.
fuck
We
off.
always
Are you
ask
kidding?
kind of
Take
uncomfortable
cigarettes away.
questions.
Yeah,
But that's
but
part
like,
of
no.
the practice.
Like, you
Like,
try
are
to
you
help that shit before.
exercising?
Let people
What are your
fucking calm
meals
their shit
like?
on their own.
Do you smoke
Don't
too much?
fucking
Do
give
you
shit
drink
that
too
you know
much?
that
Do you get
and
enough
everything.
sleep?
Stop it.
So some of these things might be probing
You
questions,
did.
but they're there for a reason, so we get you
No,
to
no,
good
no.
health. And especially now, like you had in your lead-in, with respect to the current pandemic, we're finding out that comorbidities and obesity and diabetes is certainly one that portray greater risk
See,
for
what
this
you
current
just did there
pandemic with COVID-19.
That is what they need to do
And
with
is
everything
it
right
actually
now.
important for physicians to
Like, I
document
noticed
and track
when the
a
cops were being
patient's
nice,
weight in their
I
medical
felt
records?
like I wanted to follow the rules more.
We document many things
Like,
in medical
I felt like
record.
I was
Blood
trying
pressure,
to
heart rate,
super slow one day,
saturation,
like,
and
that's
weight is
okay.
certainly one of them.
Go ahead,
It tells
pass
me
me.
about your nutritional status.
I was like, you
If
know
we're
what?
seeing that you are going up
What's
in
the
weight,
fucking
maybe
rush?
that might be
I keep
just
getting
a
getting
dietary thing.
accidents.
Maybe it's
I keep
sedentary.
looking
But maybe
at
there's
the
something else
crotch.
going on medically I need to look at.
fucking lose
If
it.
you gain weight
What
rapidly, maybe there's congestive
is
heart
so
failure,
important
you're
that you
retaining
die
fluid
for?
or other things. If you're losing weight rapidly, again, this is how we know is by putting you on a scale. If you lose
I can't
weight
wait.
rapidly, it could be a sign of cancer. All these
I'm
things are
starting
building
to
in
fucking
fixed. So
like,
easy to know by a simple tool, by a weight. I think this is reasonable to do.
Light screen, like
How much a role should these new social norms or political correctness even play in the field of medicine, if any at all?
Stop being like either people are like
Well, I want to be
merging.
sensitive to people's
Onto
needs
the
in terms of,
highway.
fat shaming, all that.
And
We
they
don't
have
do
their
that, but
fucking
this
heads
is
down.
medicine.
I'm just like,
You
oh my
never
god, I
do
want to
that.
fucking run
You're
into
You bring it
supposed
to
to
your
do is
attention
pull
that
this out of
perhaps
rope,
you might
put
be
your
eligible
hazards
for
on, and
perhaps
then
a patient.
take an
What do you think?
I think they should have
Do
a
you
fucking
think this is a
lockbox
good way for
for
you?
cars.
Tell me
Honestly,
why or why
you
not.
fucking get the car,
And
you
if
have
it's
to fucking
why
lock the
not,
phones.
then perhaps
Like,
it opens up
people
the
can't be on their phones
conversation
while they're
of
driving,
what we do
and they
better.
can't be
It's not
trusted
just
to not
pills,
be
but
on.
like
They're
the
like
exercise
teenagers in
diet.
high school, and they're
And again,
fucking
the
in their fucking
long-term
adults.
health related to that patient in terms of diabetes,
And then they just keep
high blood
coming with
pressure,
more
heart
ideas
disease,
of where
arthritis,
fucking
chronic
how to
pain, I see
fucking
my practice, hips, knees, back.
not
It's
be
not related
fucking
to
doing
weight.
something
So this
illegal,
kind of
but
starts
you're
a
still doing
conversation.
it.
It'd be so
It's
sad
built
that
into
give
your
me a
fucking
card,
dashboard doesn't
but
mean
we
you're
can't
not
talk about
fucking
this at all.
still
It's not
traffic.
really good for the patient's health.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
What
My
sets
people
of
who are
health
just like,
implications are
looking
there?
at
You know,
me,
if
and
the
I'm like,
person is too heavy, or
why
even
are you
on the other
looking
side of
at
this, if
me?
they're too
You're supposed
thin.
to look at that fucking have you.
Right. There is
And
a
they're like,
normal
because
weight
they
that we
think I'm gonna
have.
stop.
And
Like,
again, being
I'm
too
gonna stop.
overweight is not good, but underweight is
And
no
now
good.
you're like,
Again, let's
fucking
be moving
no.
to earlier. Overweight
And you're like,
means
still
increased
staring
chance
at
of
me. I'm like,
diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, chronic pain, things like that. And underweight
guys, like,
is the exact
fucking, it
same
would have been
thing
more
with respect to
fun by
again,
now.
poor
Even if I
nutrition.
fucking
You
did
can
pull
have
stuff.
bone loss, bone breakage. You
Fucking
can have
already stopped
neuropathies,
by the time they
nerve
get
ending
halfway through,
problems,
and they're just like,
cardiovascular problems. So there's a
I'm like,
reason we need to know what your
go.
nutritional status is
Fucking go.
and how we can
But
make that
it's
the
like
best for
you're
you as a
staring. You
patient.
guys have been called
Yeah, so
active
it
for
does sound like
staring.
weight obviously plays a
It's fucking dumb.
crucial role into possibly predicting
So
someone's
bad
health.
fucking drivers.
Right. And again, if we see a rapid weight loss, you might have cancer. There might be something else going on.
What
But
the
we
fuck?
can't find out what's going on. Or perhaps you have a tumor growing inside you very quickly. And that's why you're gaining weight. But I can't measure that. I mean, not to scare the public, but this is what we do. We need to have early interventions. That's why in America, we can really save a lot of patients.
I noticed.
Things like
So I
this. We have
figured
early interventions.
I was gonna wake
Now,
you up,
second on a
but
scale is an
I
early
figured
intervention.
you would text me when you woke up.
I'm with you. As somebody that's had cancer affect their family, I know firsthand. I'm with
Well,
you
it
on
was.
that, Doctor.
Oh my god,
Dr. John
you missed the
Dombrowski
sunset.
of the
The
Washington
sunset though, it
Pain
was really
Center
cool.
here in
It
your
didn't last
district.
long.
Thank
though.
you so
It was a
much
big
for that
ball of fire.
expertise.
Good, I can sleep.
Yeah, I'm hungry though. I want to make food, so I'm gonna try to clean up this room. But everybody has to get the fuck out of it for me to do that. No, it's funny, but it's not.
Your
It's
noodles,
super not.
can't let diabetes
really
get in
good.
my way.
Just
I
put
cannot eat any more fucking noodles.
it-
No more fucking noodles.
Here's oatmeal.
I don't want oatmeal either. I want real food. I'm gonna go make real food. First, I'm clean up this room a little bit.
Go towards Denver.
It's gonna close that, please. Please, please.
East, go. Evacuate.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, please. Oh, it's so cold now.
Everybody head east. Go towards 36.
Please don't. Please stop, please stop, please stop. You're not, you're making it worse.
Building higher.
Oh. Oh my god. Just take the whole thing.
May not just be a
Take it and
simple
go.
business, building a
There's
higher
still a
or
thing of
bigger
fucking blue
seawall
juice.
and then crossing our
freezer.
fingers.
Yeah, I just made you a
no
cup.
match for
Oh, okay.
Cause like fucking I can't drink that stuff anymore. Like I like having a sip of it, but that's about I bought it mostly just for you to experience the blue juice. I saw it and I had to get it. Like it was like $1.50 or something. I was like, that's a lot.
Go east, yeah, go.
It's alright.
I love it. It's just like I can't. Like even the cake that's in the freezer, I can't eat it. It's all you. Damn, I can't. Like it's so fucking bad. Fucking literally just gave myself diabetes on the spot.
personal support worker Lisa Burke has always had a tough job, but now it's getting even harder.
Like I feel like I'm dodging bullets at this point, just because of how
Maybe,
many people are getting sick.
Over half of Ontario's long-term care homes are
Maybe
now
take a
in
vacation.
outbreak, and the number of workers in isolation is surging. More than 3,800
Omicron. How?
Starting this weekend, millions of Americans.
Oh wow. Okay.
Good evening. 4 days ago, over in Good evening. 4 days ago, over in Australia, new government data was released, which showed that despite them having some of the most draconian vaccine mandates in the entire world, well, at this very moment, there are more fully vaccinated patients who are hospitalized with COVID compared to the number of unvaccinated patients. Meanwhile, right here in America, according to new death certificate data, which came out of the CDC, it showed that the number of deaths among people aged between 18 and 49, basically people who are in the prime of their lives, it increased by more than 40%. And the kicker is that the majority of these excess deaths are not coming from COVID. The last
Cool. Weird. Huh. Audio volume control operates in night mode. What? Okay. Nope. On. Okay.
CEO Albert Bourla on Monday said that his company is aiming to have a vaccine that targets the Omicron variant ready by sometime in March, but noted it was unclear if a vaccine targeting variants was necessary or how exactly it would be used. Just last month, the White House Chief Medical Advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said that he did not see a need for an Omicron-specific vaccine, saying that our booster regimens work against Omicron and there is no need for variant-specific booster.
And amid a widespread testing shortage, school closures, and that the repeated claim that the
I'm so
pandemic
muffled.
vaccinated despite large numbers of the vaccinated population getting sick. The White House is losing credibility. According to NBC News, a half dozen former health policymakers, including some members of Biden's transition team, told the outlet that the Biden administration needs an urgent reset on its COVID strategy. The White House just announced a new testing coordinator, seemingly in response to the backlash. Tom Inglesby, director of the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security. So that's a good thing, right? Testing coordinator.
I mean, I guess in the thread that Jen Psaki pointed to from Inglesby in the announcement, I think she pointed to a Bloomberg reporter's thread on the announcement. It is actually sort of conceding a lot of mistakes without conceding the mistakes. It's saying, you know, we didn't have enough in September. We had a problem over the summer. This summer testing is going to be better. And I think it's a similar thing with the question about the vaccine. Do we need variant-specific vaccines? It puts the White House in this position, and it puts Dr. Fauci, and America's sweetheart, in this position of having to say the vaccine works against the booster, so we don't need, or the booster works against this variant, so we don't need variant-specific boosters. So even though clearly it's not having its intended effect or purported effect in this case.
Well, what Fauci seems to be saying there is that it's okay to get a breakthrough case.
Right.
And as long as it doesn't develop into something serious or fatal. And therefore, we don't need a specific vaccine that deals with preventing you from being infected in the first place. That infection is okay. Which is interesting because it cuts a bit against the long COVID argument that he also makes, and that a lot of people are legitimately concerned about, that
And people have that same concern about the vaccine, but they just look at it through a different prism. They say, okay, yes, I know tens of millions of people that have gotten the vaccine and are fine, but we don't know what the long-term implications of it are because it's brand new. We just can't know. And the same is true of long COVID, although there seem to be maybe significantly more cases of those long COVID. But then it gets into this American thing where people just start doubting, like, what do you actually? This is just you being a freak. Like, Lyme disease is not a thing. It's just you being a weirdo.
Right.
And people who suffer from all of these autoimmune disorders are very familiar with the kind of scorn that is foisted upon them. So then to hear Fauci say, we don't really need a specific variant one, suggests that long COVID is an acceptable risk.
An acceptable risk, yes, exactly. And that's not something that is not an argument he makes in different contexts. And of course, Pfizer would love to make a vaccine for every different variant. Yes, 100%. They would love that. But it does, I think,
the fashion industry.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the new fall vaccine, the new fall variant is
also like the flu vaccine. Right. To not joke about it, like, yeah, the flu vaccine every year they find what is the most prevalent variant, and then they re-engineer the vaccine so that it's most effective. And sometimes they hit it, sometimes they miss.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. And so there are these competing interests at play in this question about whether we need variant-specific boosters and variant-specific vaccines that are really testing, I think, the White House's story on all of these things. And I think the same thing goes for testing. If you are bringing in somebody new, you're conceding that you need somebody new. And if you're considering all of this, and by the way, the big thing that's missing in this conversation is the question of transmissibility, right? So what is the effect that the boosters are having on transmissibility of Omicron? That should be front and center of this conversation, and it just isn't.
Right. You have to just deduce from the fact that if it reduces the amount of time that you're sick and it reduces your chances of getting infected, it doesn't stop you from getting infected, it reduces your chances, then it has some reductive power against spread, but clearly not a ton. If you just look at the fact that everyone is getting it. On the question of variants too, as we think about COVID as something endemic, there are going to be new people constantly being born and getting vaccinated around the planet. There are still billions of people that haven't been vaccinated. So I guess my question would be, why continue to produce an alpha-specific vaccine if alpha isn't really around anymore?
Right.
Okay, fine, it might be good enough, but why settle for good enough? Like, why not do the one that's like prevalent?
Yeah.
And but it moves so fast. This one, by the time March comes around and they finally have it ready, we're like, yeah, Omicron's gone now. Now it's Deltacron, whatever is whipping around at that point.
No, exactly. And this week, hundreds of kids walked out of Brooklyn Tech to protest the continuation of in-person school during the Omicron wave and call for a remote option and safer COVID precautions. One opinion piece in Politico by Oakland mother Rebecca Bodenheimer reflects on the frustration she felt over homeschooling. She eventually led an effort to push the school district to be more transparent about the process of reopening, particularly in negotiations with the teachers union. Bodenheimer's identity as a leftist turned school reopening advocate illustrates how people across the political spectrum are so frustrated with policies in place for schools. This is happening, of course, in Chicago, where you have Lori Lightfoot now pitted against the teachers union in this bizarre sequence of events. And it goes to what you were just saying about this could be March, Omicron could be over, and we are now have all of these preparations in place for something that has already passed. I think that's a frustration that so many people are feeling in their schools, that the precautions that are being taken are either not appropriate for the moment, not enough for the moment. I mean, it's all over the place, but things change so quickly, and our system doesn't seem to be built to change quickly along with them.
Right, and this is a good example of how you have people pushing in both directions, because you have those students pushing in the opposite direction, so that they want a remote option. The virus is having its say in this question, and so for a lot of students, they're back in school in New York, but many of their teachers are not. And so they're being shuffled into these gigantic auditoriums, and they're not being taught anything. It's more just like a place where they go during the day. And a lot of parents are like, fine, give them a place likes to go during the day.
Babysit them.
That's what we want. Although for high school kids, you can leave them at home. That's a different question. But yeah, the best wishes and the best laid plans of Mike and men here are running into COVID, because you can say, we want the schools open. And the teachers are like, no, I'm actually sick. Or half the kids are actually sick, like tested positive. And there's only so much you can do.
Right. Or teachers live with people who are immunocompromised, or maybe they are themselves. It's a difficult question, obviously with no easy answers, because we've been going through it for 2 years without easy answers. I do think, though, that people are coming around, especially on the left, and that Politico op-ed is a good example of it, to the reality that evidence suggests this has been a disaster for children. When you're looking at the evidence as how it has affected them, shutting schools down has been a disaster. And I think I do think more people are at least coming around to that realization. Which is, I guess that's a net positive in all of it. If you need some good news today, people are starting to agree with that. We will have more Rising for you right after this.
Oh my god. Really?
Yeah, that was close.
Dan, tell me about the decision to use grass-fed beef in your restaurant.
We want to offer, first off, something that is delicious. We want people to indulge and have a great time here, but we also want it to be a smart choice, too. Cheers on you. Cheers.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rising. I have switched coffee out for tea, and we have another great show planned for everyone today. Ryan, what's on the agenda?
Well, Max Alvarez and Brett Lloyd are with us to discuss Kroger's decision to end its $2 an hour hazard pay raise, while the company spent over $1 billion on stock buybacks. And Brianna Joy Gray weighs in on Biden's call on Democrats to ditch the filibuster in an effort to pass voting rights legislation.
But first, Senator Rand Paul and Dr. Anthony Fauci had some pretty heated exchanges yesterday during a hearing before the Senate's health panel on the federal response to COVID variants. First, Senator Paul questioned Fauci over emails, which were obtained through FOIA via The Intercept and BuzzFeed. These emails show while top experts suspected COVID had been engineered, Fauci may have had a hand in shutting down any lab origin discussions. Let's watch.
Do you really think it's appropriate to use your $420,000 salary to attack scientists that disagree with you?
Senator, the email you're referring to was an email of Dr. Collins to me. If you look at the email
that you responded to and hurried up and said, I can do it. We got something in Wired.
No. I think in usual fashion, Senator, you are distorting everything about me.
Did you ever object to Dr. Collins' characterization of them as friends? Did you write back to Dr. Collins and say, no, they're not friends, they're esteemed scientists, and it would be beneath me?
I did not.
That. You responded to him that you would do it. And you immediately got an article in Wired. You sent it back to him and said, hey, look, I've got him. I nailed him in Wired of all scientific
That's not what went on. There you go again. That was just do the same thing every year.
That was your response. And this wasn't the only time. So your desire to take down people...
Incorrect. As usual, Senator, you are incorrect almost everything
Well, no, you deny, but the emails can tell the truth of this.
Now, the proximal origin letter published in Nature Medicine is one of the main points of discussion in the middle of this exchange. So the authors of that letter that went to Nature exhibited almost overnight changes in judgment, saying, quote, our analysis clearly shows that SARS-CoV-2 is not a laboratory construct or a purposefully manipulated virus. Rand Paul then pressed Fauci over the scientist's sudden change of heart.
Peter Daszak, who you communicated with privately, and other members of the scientific community that wrote opinion pieces for Nature. 5 of them signed a paper for Nature, an opinion piece. 17 signed a paper that called it conspiracy theory, the idea that the virus could have originated in the lab. Do you think words like conspiracy theory should be in a scientific paper?
Senator, I never used that word when I was referring to it. You're distorting virtually everything.
Did you communicate with the 5 scientists who wrote the opinion piece in Nature where they were describing, oh, there's no way this could
That
come
was
from the lab.
not me. What I
Did you
did.
talk with any of those scientists
but
privately?
you keep distorting the truth. It is me.
So Fauci doesn't respond really to any of those questions.
No, he's leaning on this this constant claim that Rand Paul is distorting him as usual. He's just sort of using retorts. It's as his defense. He's not getting into the substance at all. Granted, Rand Paul kept jumping in, but even when he had the opportunity, Dr. Fauci didn't defend himself really on the merits very well or very effectively. I think probably because he can't.
Right. There are no good answers from Fauci's perspective to those questions. Like the question, did you communicate with the people who wrote that letter in Nature? Yes, we know about the conference call. We know about email exchanges. Did you use conspiracy theory? Well, okay, maybe he didn't. That we know of. Francis Collins put it in the subject line of his email to Fauci, and then Fauci replied, as you mentioned yesterday, these are just shiny objects. Ignore them. They'll go away.
Yep.
So for Fauci to now say that he never called it a conspiracy theory is disingenuous at the very best. And so I think that's right. That's why he just goes back into almost a culture war response of saying, like, you're team crazy people, and I'm team rationality.
He's team science. He is science itself. He's science embodied. And no, I don't think Fauci emerges from any of these exchanges looking particularly good, because I think he doesn't have an idea. He's not willing to admit that the public is no longer sort of buying it. And he actually has the burden of proof on him when this information comes out to explain and to sort of get into that, be humble. But he comes across as just really smug. I think that's because he doesn't want to engage on the substance. It doesn't look good for him, so he's just sort of deflecting. Now, scientific advisor at MIT and Harvard, Elena Chan, says an addendum to the proximal origin letter published in Nature is long overdue following private meetings with Western leaders and the change to their first draft. Chan cited the mostly redacted Fauci emails as the source that shut down discussion of a lab leak, adding that even the WHO held up data related to the origins of the virus. All this comes, of course, during the time that the mainstream media had branded the lab leak as a conspiracy theory that only whack jobs or Trump supporters would believe. Ryan, I think when we were having this conversation yesterday, you pivoted to a really important point, which is that the actual issue with all this is that it's the hypocrisy, it's the lying, it's all of that. It's also the point that we could have another pandemic. The reason we need to know about the lab leak theory, the reason that we have to have information about it, is because we haven't earned a break from pandemics. This could happen again. And if we are not willing to be honest about these things, then we could have another situation like this on our hands, potentially, if that's what happened.
This research is dangerous. And Fauci had been under pressure before the pandemic to put a stop to this research. There had been a pause on this research. Emails released yesterday around Dazak and Dazak, I forget how to say his name. Or not that I forget, I've never really understood how you say his name, but the guy who runs EcoHealth Alliance that was getting NIH money to do the work in the Wuhan lab, emails emerged that said, hey, let's not send all of this information up to the WHO.
What the fuck?
A veteran Toronto police officer is facing impaired driving charges after a delivery.
No.
Think about 2015 when
For most of the pandemic, daily case counts were the most widely tracked and followed metric in the pandemic. Then came the
Jesus.
treat.
Hey Psych2Goers, before we begin, we would like to give you a huge thank you for your ongoing support. Psych2Go's aim is to help you learn more about mental health and psychology in a digestible way. Now, back to the video. Do you think you're living your life to the fullest? Or are you worried that you're wasting it instead? It's commonplace to wonder if we're doing all we can with our lives, and if we feel.
Okay, I'm done. Let's see, watch.
Secondhand can be the secret to your first headstand. Discover amazing fashion.
My name is Dr. Daniel Fox, and I'm making this video in response to someone who wrote me and asked if I could talk about the quiet borderline type. And what I'm actually going to do is talk about the 4 subtypes of borderline personality disorder. And these are theorized by an American psychologist named Theodore Milan. And knowing which subtype can be helpful for treatment, can be helpful for some self-understanding. So I thought it might be good to go over all 4 of these, and we'll also talk about some management and coping strategies for you as well. So let's start out with the first type, and that's the discouraged or quiet borderline personality disorder type. And these individuals tend to be clingy, follow the crowd, dependent on others, yet angry on the inside, but can explode if they are pushed. They're likely to harm themselves, often moody, somber, yet quiet. So they sort of run the gamut in responses. They tend to have suicidal thoughts, often engage in gestures, self-mutilation. They may make attempts to hurt themselves, and sometimes, regretfully, they do also follow through with suicide completion. The next type that we'll talk about is the petulant borderline personality disorder type. And these individuals are really unpredictable, very irritable, they complain very often, they're very impatient, defiant, often stubborn, they're like disgruntled, pessimistic, resentful. They tend to see themselves as unable to get better. A lot of times they'll refer to themselves as I am borderline, instead of seeing it as a diagnosis and something that they can overcome. They're often torn between relying on others and keeping their distance for fear of disappointment. They often switch between feelings of unworthiness and anger. And when they do express their anger, it tends to be quite explosive. So that's the petulant borderline personality disorder type. The next type is the impulsive borderline personality disorder type. Now, these individuals are very flirtatious, and they're captivating and very elusive and superficial. They're thrill seekers. They're high sensation seekers. They are highly energetic, easily bored, impulsive, unpredictable. There is a spectrum of borderline personality disorder, and your impulsive borderline personality disorder may be misdiagnosed with histrionic personality disorder. And that is because of that high energy presentation, because of the thrill seeking, and other types of sort of very attention seeking types of behaviors. But since we're specifically talking about borderline personality disorder subtypes, that is the impulsive borderline personality disorder subtypes. And then the last type that we're going to talk about is the self-destructive borderline personality disorder type. Now, this type, these folks are also very impulsive. They're very indecisive. They tend to sort of vacillate, which go back and forth between apologetic submissiveness and stubborn resistance. They tend to harbor a lot of self-hatred. They're high likelihood to self-mutilate, which is harm themselves, which could be cutting, burning, banging their head. When frustrated, agitated, feeling sense of loneliness. And they also engage in a lot of dangerous behavior, which can be like reckless driving, substance abuse. All 4 are at a higher risk for substance abuse as well. But your self-destructive type, these folks tend to engage in particular behaviors that are particularly destructive. And I think reckless driving, drinking, drugging while driving, putting others in danger fall to that category as well. So that's our 4 borderline personality disorder subtypes. And the reality is that very few will fall into one of these discrete categories. What's likely to happen, and what I see most often is that there's a lot of overlap. And you can see overlap between all four. You can see overlap between two. There's really sort of a mixture. And you'll see these different subtypes can sometimes be dependent upon situations that they're in. It could be a relationship. It could be at work. There's a lot of differences to where these different types of behaviors may exude. I think that if you look at these four types, one or two may ring a little stronger for you, but you may get a sense that you may have all four. However, what I want you to do is really think about which one is most prevalent for you and start there. And when I say start there, I mean sort of identifying those behaviors, working on those behaviors, and controlling them, reining them in. And that's a good way to sort of get more control over that borderline personality disorder. So let's talk about that now. When we talk about a treatment approach, a lot of times we tend to approach borderline personality from a global perspective. And that global perspective is without identifying that subtype. But that's not what we're going to do here. What we're going to do here is we are going to talk about, for example, assertiveness training. And appropriate assertiveness training with an emphasis on restraint would be appropriately focused for the discouraged or quiet borderline individual. Also, your discouraged individual restraint in response to others would be something to focus on as well. And then when we talk about your impulsive and self-destructive type, we would talk about sort of restraint for acting out as well. So you can see assertiveness and restraint are certainly critical for these subtypes. Now, if we break it down for new healthy behaviors and go a little deeper, let's talk about the discouraged or quiet borderline subtype. Now, these individuals, you want to practice what you mean in a calm and clear manner. So you want to learn to assertively and appropriately and clearly communicate what you mean. And there's a lot of different ways that you can learn to do this. One of them is the stop, think, approach method. So when you get this strong urge to respond, stop, think about what your goal is, what you want out of the interaction, and then say something that you know is clear and direct, but is appropriate, and that is not loud, that is not too soft, that you appropriately are communicating what you need and want in the situation. For the next suggestion for your petulant type, what I would encourage these individuals to do is to not stuff it, but appropriately express it. And what we find is with your petulant type, they brood a lot. A lot of times you would imagine that they sort of, cross their arms and they get really frustrated. And I'm not making fun of it. This is what I see is that sometimes, they're sick and they'll be very closed off and they don't want to talk and they're being resistant. And I certainly would respect that in the moment, but we have to work on sort of appropriately expressing your needs. It's hard for people to understand what you're trying to express when they see behaviors like that. So we want to work on appropriately expressing what your needs and wants are. And we'll talk about your impulsive type. An appropriate approach would be stop, be mindful. You want to think and consider the consequences, then engage. Because we know that those impulsive folks, they get a stimulus and off they go. And we want to slow yourself down from doing that. We know that you have a high tendency for impulsivity. So slowing down, reasoning, positive decision making, and then engaging is going to help you in all situations, whether it's romantic situations, family situations, or work situations, school, whatever it may be. And then lastly, for that self-destructive type, you want to build that positive social support, those positive social support individuals that you have in your interpersonal circle. Who can you go to for a source of support and encouragement that are going to help you express your needs in an appropriate manner so that you can get these things out and you can deal with them with someone else who can help you. That can be a therapist, it can be a good friend, maybe a family member in some cases. Whoever that is, but finding someone in that social support circle. Now, it's always best to find more than one individual and not go to just one individual. Because what can happen is, maybe you've had this experience, is that you find someone you can really talk to and trust, but it's that one person. So you end up going to them on a continual basis. And sometimes that can cause some strain in the relationship. So try to find a support system, a support circle of individuals that can help you do that. So I hope that you've found some of these techniques helpful. I'm always happy to answer any questions or any comments that you may have. So subscribe to my channel if you're interested. And as always, I appreciate your time. Thank you. And please take care. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Kyle Kilson with MedCircle, joined by clinical psychologist Dr. Rami. Love seeing you again today.
Thank you so much for having me, Kyle.
We've talked about borderline personality disorder in the past, and if you're watching this right now and you want a general overview of BPD, use the links below to access that content, because right now we're going to dive into the 4 subtypes. Dr. Rami, let's start with the high-functioning internalized.
I don't hear people talking about how fucking hopeless my
We had an appointment in Saskatoon in
dude, what the oh my god. Fuck yeah.
So there are reports of 4 more American diplomats falling ill with Havana syndrome, this time now in Europe. Now, the cause of the affliction is not really known yet, but what Washington is trying to get to the bottom of is this very issue. So we have RT's Alex Mihailovich picking up the story for us.
It's a mysterious illness which is said to be striking Western diplomats. Over 200 cases of Havana syndrome have been reported over the past 5 years, like here at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota, Colombia, where in October, at least 5 U.S. families tied to the diplomatic mission showed symptoms connected to the condition. Now, there are reports that 4 more U.S. diplomats working in Switzerland and France fell ill with the suspected neurological illness last summer. 3 diplomats became sick in Geneva, and 1 in Paris. The syndrome, which was first reported in Havana, Cuba in 2016, has affected U.S. diplomats, staff, and family members, as well as a number of Canadian diplomatic staff deployed in the city. Cases have also been reported in China, Vietnam, Austria, Serbia, and Germany. Symptoms include dizziness, headaches, vertigo, and tinnitus, which is a constant ringing in the ears. Some would say the symptoms are reminiscent of jet lag or a hangover, but U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken seems to believe it's something much more serious. He was quoted as saying, "We are working overtime across the entire government to get to the bottom of what happened. Who's responsible?" After hearing accounts from State Department employees around the world who have been affected by the syndrome, Blinken also said, "There is no doubt in my mind that people have been directly and powerfully affected." In October, U.S. President Joe Biden signed into law a bipartisan bill that boosts support for officials afflicted by the symptoms. In some cases, those with Havana syndrome have been diagnosed with traumatic brain injuries. Some fear that an adversary of Western governments may have targeted the diplomats and others involved with microwaves. Washington has raised the issue with Russia. However, Moscow has dismissed the allegations as fanciful hypotheses. Russia, China, and the U.S. are all said to have researched microwaves for military purposes.
Like back in the 90s.
However, others say it could be something much less diabolical. Some scientists back a theory that it's crickets, yes, those little noisy critters, that most likely caused the syndrome, while others say that it could have been brought on by a stressful underlying situation. Either way, the U.S. government has appointed a task force to investigate the cases, and towards the end of 2021, it allocated some $30 million to treat Havana syndrome in its annual defense bill. For News on RT America, I'm Alex Mihailovich.
Oh, yes.
We had them. There are. It is the pandemic of declining viewership when it comes to the mainstream media. But who saw it the worst in the latest ratings? When Omicron hit and we saw numbers rising in What is in a name? Well, a lot. And when it comes
Republican state.
Britain's Prince Andrew has been stripped of his military.
This is so dumb.
not a major change. The United States has accused Russia of sending sabotage.
Oh dear. No, okay.
Is this your new fight? Meaning, before COVID, you didn't talk about vaccines. I doubt that this was something that was on your radar, or was it? But is this your line in the sand? Like, this is what I stand for now?
Yeah, I mean, I think my fight has always been freedom. You know, I came into this business battling the GOP establishment, really. I was battling Republicans, and my issue was debt. My issue was like, why don't they care about the debt? You know,
Specifically Republicans or just politics?
Well, I was mad because Republicans claimed to care about
the
those
fiscal
things.
conservatives.
Right. A lot of Republicans were claiming to care about those things and weren't doing anything about it. And I
care about you.
If there's ever been a topic made for talk radio, debating taxing the unvaccinated may be it.
Krista, what do you say?
it should be at least $300 to $400. It shouldn't be an amount. It should be a percentage of an income that the people have. When smoke became a secondhand smoke issue, we banned it. Right? This is not something new because of COVID. Be fair. Quantify how much of a burden the people aren't back. They get the flu or place on the healthcare system. People lead a sedentary lifestyle. People eat fast food, and then make it fair and tax them to.
Oh my god. I'm fucked up. Holy shit. That hurts me. Holy shit. What's that? It's okay, sorry. Well, that's it. Okay? That's it. Three. Good. Oh my god. Fuck. No. What? No phone. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, that hurt a little bit, Jack. Get down. Hey. What? What is that? Yeah? Oh. What's that? Mhm. Mhm. Mm. That was awful. Where'd you go? What are you eating now? Mhm. Mhm. Mm-mm. Holy shit. Mm. Mhm. Oh, I get it. Here, go, 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 go. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. The pet's full. Hey, hey. Mhm. Fucking hell. Mm. Mm. Oh my god. Mm. Mm. Mhm. Mm. 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 Absolutely fucking. Mm. Mhm. Mm. Mhm. What's that called? What? Where's that? Izzy. Go. Izzy. Why? Oh no. Oh, this is back. Oh shit. Eat your food, Jack. Jack. Eat your food. Yeah. Very painful. That's great. Oh, I mean, your soul. Like, sweet. Okay. Hi. No gym class, dude. What the fuck are you guys doing? This is fucking dumb. What? No. Oh my god. I have to just like fucking repeating. I think this is how Vegas. I fucking. Ugh. Dude, I'm gonna freak out. Like. Yep.
One.
British intelligence service and military. What this means, security, blah 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 blah. Oh my god, I'm fucking losing.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. I would love to just like watch cartoons or some shit. It'd be fucking awesome. Like, I'm married, that's somewhere.
We are exactly 3 weeks away from the start of the Beijing Winter Olympics.
Oh, good. I care so much. I can't listen to your fucking ugly, fucking stupid fat face anymore. That's it. Ordered. Unvaccinated. 2 days, 2 days, 2 days. I'm drunk fucking nuts. I think that's good research. They're all restrictions.
This updated longer range forecast shows how the Omicron wave could evolve in the coming weeks as cases continue to accelerate across the country. It is important to note that this trajectory estimates the true number of daily cases as opposed to reported cases.
Shut up.
I think it's some.
Wastewater. 2 days.
Yeah, you gotta kill the.
Don't care. Don't care.
And welcome to today's update on COVID-19 in New Brunswick. Bon après-midi tout le monde et bienvenue à cette mise à jour sur le COVID-19 au Nouveau-Brunswick.
No. Oh no. I knew it. You're stupid. Fuck this. Okay.
There, baby, okay? I will.
Okay. Down.
Class, meet our new student, Snot Gonski. Now don't treat him any differently because he's Jewish and poor. Because his thirsty mom gave me big skank vibes, okay?
Shit.
I'm also allergic to nuts. Well, lucky for you, you clearly don't have any. Boy, I'm just dunking on you up here. Everybody take out pencils and practice your letters.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Whoa, you can't even afford a pencil? My grandma has one. I'm supposed to get it when she dies. I'm good. Mine never runs out of ink. Well, if it does, I have the bigger one like this. You can have one of mine. Thanks. I got you, pal. From here on out, it's going to be you and me forever. Wow, that's a weird thing to say to someone you've just met, but thanks again. Thanks. I blew most of my tokens on skee-ball, and the rest were taken from me at gunpoint in the men's room. I got you, pal. Hey, need any Steve bucks? Check out the sick new redesign. Oh, you fixed that typo that said, "In Steve we thrust." Yep. And, as always, you can trade these in for whatever you need from me. Food, cash, some of those Glade plugins you like to pass off as cologne. Thanks. A little dab of Hawaiian breeze behind my ear not only smells great, it's also the closest I'll ever get to the Caribbean. Hey, want to kick my ass at Frogger? Can't. My mom asked me to pick up dinner, so I gotta hit up Burrito Barn. If I throw up on the salad bar, they usually toss it all in the dumpster. Then it's just me versus the crows. Well, I don't want to step on your dinner plans, but why don't you guys come eat at our house? Like in the basement? From a trough? No, at the kitchen table with us. Like the family on the TV show Dinosaurs? No way!
Your salad dressing is amazing. I can't stop eating it. I don't even care if it goes straight to my ass. So sweet of you to say that. My mom makes everything from scratch. Come on, eat up.
I'm actually pretty good, Steve.
Right, at the go plate.
Fun. It runs in the family. Corona.
I don't know what's going on. I look like a T-Rex. That's great.
Roof leather. How you doing on Easter egg coloring kits? I don't think they know. Mom, don't make this weird. They have nothing.
You're dumb.
No, Esther.
The cat's freaking out.
Steve said Snot's birthday's coming
I
up.
don't have fucking cats.
Party at?
Probably Herbert Park. It's always empty. Except the curbs.
I think I've had like
Free.
most like fucking 16 cats or
Nonsense.
something
Have
at
your
one
party
time.
here. We have a pool,
It's terrible.
barbecue, almost no
I hate
cats.
cats. I don't hate cats. I just don't hate old
Thanks,
cats.
Steve. Please. You would do the same thing for me if the Salvation Army shoe were on the other foot.
Orange Julius, proof God loves us.
Hey, Roger, where'd you get that? Secret menu, baby. Go to any Orange Julius in the world and ask for it Julia style, and we'll just give you a big bowl of chicken gizzards.
Have you ever considered modeling?
Ever did?
I think you all have what it takes to be models.
Mall fashion show? What a joke.
Jeff is excited! These are idiots. Those are just flyers for a lame mall fashion show.
I'm gonna be a supermodel.
Wow! What the hell? Has anyone else seen this?
There's no room. It doesn't work that way. You almost killed me. Now slap this out of my hands. Why? Models can't drink this stuff. We're going to be on strict diets. Right after this. Now we're models. I just want to be a single dad with a cush job selling live bait.
What? Oh, sorry, Barry. I just can't get over Snot's pants.
They really showcase that popping apple bottom.
No. How'd he suddenly afford new pants?
Popping
I hope he's not camming again, although he is very good at it.
You beat me again.
Oh, game over, huh? Need some Steve Bucks? Nah, I'm good. But I am hungry. Let's get some pizza. On me. Snot never pays for pizza. Where's all this money coming from?
Who cares?
Are you talking to me?
I'm happy for him.
Oh, sure, absolutely. No one's rooting for that guy more than me. But what the hell?
Can we maybe just sit in silence, Steve?
Okay.
I have a ripping headache. We're talking in circles, and I just really want to focus on waiting for the pizza.
Okay.
Wow, two large wallet busters?
And here are some tons of our delicious new dipping sauce. I'm sorry, Mr. Snot. I'm a really big fan of your mom's sauce. Would you mind giving me your autograph?
Sure, might as well get used to it. Snot's mom's sauce?
Yes! Finally, a big get for Carl! My twin, Danny! I'll see your ass in hell!
What's going on, Snot? Oh, guys, can we please not make a big deal out of this? We're loaded! My mom started selling her own dressing, and Pizza Overlord is using it as their new dipping sauce in every location. Nope, it's mine. It's just like my mom's dressing. This is my mom's dressing. Yeah, it's my mom's take on it. Oh, okay. And I guess Ice Ice Baby is just Vanilla Ice's take on Queens Under Pressure? Yeah, my mom took something and made it better, just like Vanilla Ice did. Well, Mr. A1A, Mr. Beachfront Avenue, this dressing your mom made is no brand new invention.
Yay! Now we're in the line. Grab a hold of me tightly.
Look, all I know is things are going well for us, and I won't have to mooch off of you anymore. In fact, you can have all your Steve bucks back. Oh, now you don't need me because your mom stole my mom's dressing? That's really great, Snot.
So, logistically, how does Steve bucks work? Do you give them back to him in exchange for money? Couldn't he just give you the money in the first place? You know what? It's not like that.
Listen up, fools. It's Taco Tuesday, and Snot Bernstein is no longer the poorest person in school. Let's give it up for Mr. Ames, the math teacher. Don't you look at me, you bitch. 1 + 1 = you, Paul.
There is Snot. Probably at home crying, trying to write me an apology letter, feeling all...
Wow! Jewish Jaden Smith! I love your mom's sauce.
Oh, if it isn't the little sauce prince. Surprised you're not at home, covered in sauce, making out with your mom.
You
still hung up on that? Yeah, I'm still hung up on it. I'm also thinking about hanging up my birthday party planning apron. Oh, you thought I was still having it at your house? Yeah. We're relocating the Bellagio fountains on the rooftop of the Langley W Hotel.
But what about our plan to use my house?
How about the guests park on your lawn and the shuttle bus drivers can shit in your bathroom? Does that work for you?
Snotter, what's up, young bull? Is this little chicken here giving you problems? Oh, hey, while I'm looking out for you, can I borrow your hoverboard? Losing that gout battle today.
Keep it. I got 3 more at home.
Yo-ho! Check me out, skanks! Lewis is riding dirty! I'm gonna go over here now.
Okay, I'll say it. That was flawless. I don't know how not to do it.
So easy to do things when we're beautiful. If you guys are done sucking each other off, which is, of course, a huge part of modeling, I can tell you we're nowhere near mole fashion show level.
What do you know about it?
I yank it to Vogue magazine every day. No days off.
Okay, we agree with the expert.
So, everyone, great job barely eating. I think we deserve a treat. Yeah. Hack wagon, laxatives, and cotton balls.
No, I can't. I had 2 cotton balls today already. I'm disgusted.
Roger, how do you eat everything and not gain any weight?
Good genes, I guess. Hashtag blast.
Hashtag tapeworm. Focus! Sure, we're killing it in this act, but we need to practice working a crowd before our big gig at the mall. They need to be discerning, sophisticated, a crowd of tastemakers. Jim Dale used jet ski shows this weekend. That is what we're doing.
Makes mom sauce. I make mom sauce. Snot, mom sauce. A vegetables and pizza crust.
You'll love my mom's sauce. They do. Snot's mom's sauce. That name sucks the big one.
I think it's cute. Her mom name is Snot's mom. And as his mom, she's made the sauce for everyone. It's a mom-friendly sauce.
Yeah. They stole your recipe. Why are you more upset?
Snot's mom didn't steal anything from me. My salad dressing recipe? Sure, Esther. Let me get my recipe book. Found my recipe card. Ready? Partially hydrogenated oil. Of course I...
She's still cool. On aime sauvegarder. Peut-être même un peu trop. Joins-toi à l'équipe.
You don't know how low I've got. You just look at the home I bought. Always trying to show other people that I'm more than enough. Even though I'm about to blow my top. Working every day trying to hold my spot. Got a lot of women saying, oh my God. Cause I'm riding around the city in a brand new Beamer. Trying to be somebody that I know I'm not. Even when I bought a couple gold chains. To show all the people I know I'm at a no name. And the love of my life wants me in the slow lane. Looked her in the face, said no way. Fuck settling down, I never knew how, man. I've been living life like I don't age. All the parties have cocaine. I'm doing my best not to go back to my old ways. But I've been up for so long that it feels like it's still the same day. Hate being alone, so I party with the people who feel the same way. Too many drinks, have a whole room spinning. I don't even know if I'm with 1 or 2 women. I can feel my heartbeat every few minutes. I think it's my heart's way of saying, are you finished or are you finished? Let me be real with you, I don't think I love myself. I only feel like I'm enough when I'm someone or somebody else. Killing myself just to prove I have purpose. I'll show the receipts and the proof that I purchased. I'll do anything so the truth doesn't surface. That I'm doing the most because I truly feel purpose. And honestly, that's an epiphany, if I ever heard one. But I'ma take another drink because everybody here keeps saying I deserve one. And she just put a drug in my mouth, same one that she's putting onto her tongue. I'm putting it in song because I don't want you to make the mistakes I learned from. I talk to the stars, hoping there's one maybe I might reach. When I finally do, I just hope that it guides me to find my peace. I want to know why I was put on this earth for. And as an artist, why the fuck do I hurt more? And will I miss this life when I'm gone? Or will I feel like I finally belong? Looking back at my life, I feel like it's all I ever wanted. But after getting so many cold shoulders, you turn cold-hearted. And I'm ice cold now, like I'm Sub-Zero. I don't want you to see me as some hero, cause I'm just putting my flaws in the open to show you you're not the only one broken.
I've never made homemade dressing. Who has time for that? I put in a full 8 hours of HGTV a day.
All this time, our family dressing was just Newman's Own ranch.
How? I don't just let it go, Steve. It's not our recipe. The good news is you have nothing to be mad. It's not about.
My mom's homemade window pane!
Yeah, about that.
Congratulations! You made the cut to Scott Bellagio Bash at the W.
Didn't water at all. It's Glow by Jennifer Lopez. It's a nice touch. Remember, we are here to learn how to work a crowd. So keep it tight, but also very loose. Go! Now I know how scary it is to be a record. I wonder.
My baby loves that chicken noodle soup. Waiting long lines for that really fantastic chicken soup. Gotta get that sweet, 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 sugary soup. I'm modeling.
What is that? Make us want to bang that thing! Yes!
Sir, you can't bang that CD!
Check it out! I got a hologram of Prince.
Tiny little sensual
As you can see, this party is pretty crowded. Steve, I'm glad you made it. Things were a little weird the other day. I wasn't sure you were coming. What? I wouldn't miss this. What the hell? Happy birthday.
Nobody steals recipes from Paul Newman and gets away with it.
What? How are you?
We're Newman's Own Copyright Protection Unit.
Where are you taking my mom?
To Newman's Own Women's Own Prison.
Oh, no. No. You can't take her. You're just supposed to take her money. Her son has no one else.
one step ahead of you. And the Child Protective Services, yeah, we got to pick them for you.
No, don't call them.
It's too late! Honey, are you the abandoned child?
I guess so. I haven't really had time to process it.
We're Child Protective Services, and you need to get on the ground!
Wait a minute. Are you Lindsay Lohan?
That's right. Don't do drugs.
What were you thinking? I didn't know this would happen. I just wanted things to go back to normal. When Snot was poor and he looked at me like a god.
I'm sure I like the way he feels in my arms.
Yeah, that's awkward as hell. You're right, honey. We should do that wine cellar instead. We'll give him a home. Steve, what are you doing here? I told you, it's you and me forever. Now come to Stevie. Wow, you are sort of awkward. Have you had a scoliosis screening? Yep, got it there.
First off, thank you for choosing adoption. Most couples, especially smoking hot ones like yourselves, insist on having biological children.
We're not a couple. Child.
You think that 6 to bang is done?
Steve Smith. What a coincidence. Says here you're the reason Snot's here in the first place.
What?
Steve tipped off Newman's own about your mom's dressing, so they arrested her and turned you over to us.
Knew it. You couldn't stand seeing me and my mom on top for once, so you made sure we lost everything we ever had. That's not true. And you still have me. You're dead to me.
So if you two aren't dating, does that mean you're single?
Who are you asking?
Whoever wants to answer.
I'm so sorry for everything, Mrs. Leinstein. I'm sure Snot told you what happened.
No, is he okay? I use my phone time to get on Loveline. Dr. Drew has amazing advice on dating prison guards. He says do it. Get some if you can.
That's, good advice. Are you okay?
When I said I hadn't talked to Snot, that was a little bit of a fib.
You're dead, sucker! Cover the camera! You separated this family, and I'm gonna do the same thing to your body and your dick! I need another ship!
Please, remember the oath you took as a prison guard and protect my dick!
Want this shiv? It's gonna cost you $2.
What the hell is that?
Mrs. Longstein's toilet wine. Everybody loves it.
You make wine in a toilet?
I do! I also make dark chocolate in my underwear. That's just a gross joke. You gotta laugh to stay sane in here.
By the way, the warden would like a case of your toilet wine for his son's Christmas.
Yep, then tell him I want a sushi pizza!
You want a sushi pizza? I can get you. You can do anything for my toilet wine.
Huge pass on the fish pizza, but I have an idea how to get you out of prison.
Nobody steals my Leinstein's toilet wine. Leinstein's toilet wine. It's okay to drink from the toilet.
Longstein's toilet wine is a division of Newman's own industries.
Isn't that your mom's fancy
It's
wine?
just one thing.
You
Like,
must be so
Pretty good.
rich.
Actually, no. My mom had to give it all to
oh
me.
my god. Like, I'm trying to do something.
Is this real money?
Well, it's more a currency of friendship.
You guys are jealous. But just in case George Soros follows through on his scheme to destabilize the dollar.
Soros, eh? Have I been too generous with these?
I'm still mad at you, Steve. But you are a hoot.
I'm so sorry for everything I did. I was just scared of losing you.
Scared? I thought you were jealous that for once I had more money than you.
No, I thought I was going to lose your friendship. See, I've always been your sugar daddy, and when you got your own sugar, I was worried you wouldn't want to hang out with daddy. That's crazy. You'll always be my daddy.
I know everyone says this, but kids really do talk different these days.
Friends, best friends.
Oh, look, it's Nutless and List Boy.
Were you our kindergarten teacher?
I don't know. Is your mom still a skank? Enjoy your food.
Oh. Why is everything off in here? Like.
Everyone looks amazing. And we got here
All
by
right.
making healthy choices. I know, Run Bay. Roger, are you okay? You started nervous talking
Oh my God.
to the big show.
Let's do this, you beautiful bitches.
I have my cigarettes over there. Well, the cigarettes are over there.
Whoa. Baby, I see why you got the job.
Mouse, are you in there with the spank bag again?
Constance fucking. I don't know what fucking.
I just made a killing in the shock market.
Don't you not eat tomatoes? Don't you not eat tomatoes?
Reset the test scores.
No, I like beef steak tomatoes. It's just like, I don't know. Once in a while.
Why did you love
I'm trying to overlook things stuck again.
Because you pull, don't pull. Turn it to the right.
Agent Duper, big fan.
Agent Duper not only invested your time, he did so with all as a catchphrase. Not better than shock market. Hello, Sig. Got some surrounding
Whoa, that's fucking cool. That is very, very cool. Yep.
She said,
Go ahead, Jack. Go
he said it was minus 36 right now. Is that right?
Just a test of his faith.
Am I both sides?
Well, he's doing 25 to life for sacrificing his son. Well, I hope he found God. He sure didn't find him in my cousin's stomach. Mary! Mom, this is my Bible class. Please dim your headlights. Bible class, huh? Hey, tell us a story of how God was denied his perfect cereal. No, wait, that was the Tricks Rabbit.
Did she, is that?
Confused.
Oh, I get it. She just said calm your tits, dim your headlights.
She's a Harley. They should be stoned.
Always.
Did you use my shock market line?
Hi, girls.
Undo the fucking 2 tablespoons of water.
What? Did you change your water?
2 tablespoons of water.
In the pan?
Yeah, and just like fucking, I don't know how fucking long it's supposed to be. I don't understand why it's fucking so complicated. I would love to know to get fucking sour cream.
Hey, why don't you invite your boss over for dinner tomorrow night? You know, for some good old-fashioned bootlicking.
Dinner, huh? Great idea. Chinese toothbrush. You can make a chicken taste like an omelet. When it comes to oral hygiene, they really phone it in.
You bitch.
You bitch.
Bitch. Bitch.
They sure knew how to write female characters back then.
Look alive, people. Look, what the hell? My boss sees you, I'm finished. That's him.
Look
Open your eye. Now you're doing this?
Yeah, I haven't been feeling so great. Once it dries, it'll chip right off.
Go.
Can I just top off my Chardonnay?
I'll bring it up later.
Something bright and summery on the palate, but with an explosive finish. You got it. All right, I'm going.
See? This evening.
To a radiator in Fallujah. She wanted to come, but I do not negotiate with terrorists. Hey, do I smell meatloaf?
What's your problem? Why didn't you say
Segues. I'll pass. Come on, you pray all the time when Jeff comes over. Oh God. Oh God.
Yes, she's worried about it. These photos can be laminated in our placemats. Is this Agent Pimpin? Yes, and he's eating a falafel recreationally. The terrorist, Smith. It appears you've come to great lengths to discredit a fellow agent. I like your style.
Slut. 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 Slut.
God, who do you have to throw around here to get a Chardonnay?
Slut. Slut.
That's all 50.
You know.
Well done, Smith. But me, I think I give my wife's five, right? That's my boss out there. Have you lost your mind?
No, but I lost my buzz thanks to you.
Smith, into the bus. Smith, this might be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Chardonnay talking, but I think this bathroom is the perfect place to discuss your promotion. Into the top.
Flip-flops.
No! Good God, show yourself! Stop it! Oh, in my eye! Smith, are you under attack in there? No, everything's fine. Stand back. Good God, Smith, what the... Thanks a lot, Roger. How do you expect me to compete with Duper after what my boss saw in there?
It's not my fault I don't feel well.
It's always something with you. You've been nothing but a burden.
Yes.
Stan, please.
Yeah, Dad, don't stress him out. It messes with his stomachs.
No,
Oh
it's
my
about time we
God.
were.
It's
We're the
wonderful.
ones risking our necks here. Do you know what would happen to us if the government found out we were fighting an alien? No, he doesn't care. No, he just lays around the house and eating groceries and popping out pudding.
Stand it, shut up.
You know, our lives would be a hell of a lot easier if you were just gone. Oh, yeah?
Roger, you okay?
Bravo, bravo, what a performance. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ethan Hawke.
He doesn't look right, Dad.
Up and out of Ethan, time to make another awful Richard Linklater movie. Fantastic film of his being a drama queen. All right, everyone up to bed.
It's 7:45.
We're going to bed.
Good night, girls. Jeez.
What commitment. Wakey, wakey, Mr. Hawke. Gattaca 2 finally got his financing.
Dad, I think he's dead.
Well, then I guess he wouldn't mind if I poke him in the eye with a fork. Yeah, he's dead.
I can't believe he's gone.
He's up in heaven now, blowing smokes off Jesus. Roger, we should have a really nice memorial service.
Another question. We'll have to dispose of the body so the government can never trace it back to us.
We'll at least do it in a way that honors his memory and all that he meant to us.
Darling, it's me. Double cheeseburger, small fries, and Mr. Kim. Not the largest, the one right under that.
That would be the medium.
Can I get some ketchup? Oh, no, it's already in there. I see it. I see it.
That sounded kind of effeminate. Holy crap, can't a guy fall into a stress-induced hibernation cycle without being chucked in the trash? Okay, calm down, nothing to be scared of. Get it off me! Wait a minute, I can use this to get home. Disguised as a lady. A lady who keeps medical waste in her pockets.
You call me, Dad?
Son, I know you're having trouble dealing with Roger's death, so I thought it might cue you up to help me burn every shred of evidence that he ever existed.
What? Why can't we just hide that stuff?
It's too risky. No one can ever know Roger was here.
Don't you have any feelings?
Son, feelings are what women have. They come from their ovaries.
You're a monster! I have no father!
I'm not a monster.
So if I can cash out my kitchen right now. How much will I get? Oh, damn it, that's a very steep penalty. So basically, you're telling me I'm stuck here for 2 more years. Yeah, thanks for nothing, Barney. So what is it now? Your mother died or something?
No, it was a very dear. He was like a pet. You have to forgive her. She's very upset. Just say a prayer for him on Sunday, you know. So maybe he'll hear it in heaven.
You're serious? Look, according to the church, there are no pets in heaven. Now, for heaven, you got your men, women, children, and apes who use sign language. Not going to heaven, you got your pets, your dinosaurs, your smart pipes, and self-burning nuts. You ever seen Blade Runner? No, of course you haven't. Alrighty, I'm gonna pay your party.
Wait a minute. Roger was good. Well, what kind of God wouldn't allow him into heaven?
This guy.
That's your idea of God?
He can kick your ass. Whatever. How do I get home? How do I get home? Where the hell is a trail of racist pieces when you need one?
Hey, where you going?
I'm not an area.
Back on the bus, Mrs. Nussbaum.
Huh? Look, there's been a mistake. I need to get home.
Home? No, we're going to D.C. to see the sights. Haven't seen you around the hill line. My name's Kurt. Now, don't you fret about that. It happens to me all the time. What do you know? It's happening right now.
Morning, Jackson. Want to help me analyze some Al-Qaeda chatter?
Actually, Stan, they put Agent Duper on chatter. They bumped you down to Al-Qaeda banter.
So I'm trying those flight things, but they're just not working.
Are you wearing them every day?
Every other day.
Well, that's why they're not working.
Don't you have any feelings? You're a monster. I have no father.
What seems to be the problem?
Well, I got in an argument with our dog. He expelled large of xenoplasm and then he died. I'm a monster for not feeling anything.
Look at that, Stan. How close are you to this dog?
Well, we do go back a ways. I'll take the slab where the type of music is coming from.
Don't hurt me. I know it sounds cliche, but I mean you no harm.
You're the alien. They said you'd be bigger and with claws.
Oh, I got claws. Look how fat you are. See? Kitty can scratch. It's in the lab. Let's dust it.
Let's go, space chimp. You saved my life. How can I ever repay you?
You got TiVo. Stan. I'm lost you there. Now look, this is a safe place. How do you feel?
I guess I feel kind of sad.
And do you know why?
Because I listen. Yeah.
Because you are a lady.
I am not a lady.
Wait, Stan, you forgot your purse.
I swear I lose my only head. Hey, I don't have a purse.
Pearly gates? Angels? It's all a lie. When your parents die, they'll be in a hole in the ground. Worms slowly chewing through their foul, putrid organs. Don't worry, kids. God is real. Jesus loves you, etc., etc. Wrong way of doing. Well, I just can't believe in a God that wouldn't let Roger into heaven.
Hey, Haley, since Dad's a heartless bastard and all, I'm auditioning as father figures. Should I go an outwardly affectionate Tom Hanks or consistently underrated Jeff Bridges?
Why are you worried about Dad? It's Mom that we've lost.
Steve, mein Kinderstudent, there's an emotionally available father figure floating in front of you.
Really? You'd be my dad?
It would be my honor. Now here's your allowance. 5 bucks.
5 bucks.
But I have 6 bucks. Don't tell your mother.
Wow, the Oval Office. Just think of the history that's been made behind that desk.
Not to mention,
Here, have yourself a nip.
well, getting hammered in the Oval Office. Hey, look, I'm Kenny Dukakis in an alternate timeline. People, This footage was captured at 1400 hours today by a White House security camera. Sorry I'm late, I was getting a piping hot cup of coffee. It's far too hot to drink, but luckily my battery mouth can take it. Sit down, Smith. Our analysts have confirmed this creature is none other than the alien that escaped from Area 51 4 years ago. My eyes! So why? Naturally, recapturing this fugitive is our top priority. Then we can track down the bastards that have been harboring it and punish them brutally. I mean, really brutally. Weird stuff. But stuff. Somebody take Smith's coffee. Smith! Stan, you lantern John Sasquatch! You throwing any of your kids in the garbage today? Roger, I've been looking for you. Where are you? Oh, I'm getting by just fine on my own. But I got something to say to you. I'm a carpetbagger. You're a carpetbagger, Stan, you know that? What's that? Look, I'm sure you're mad I chucked you in the trash, but I've thought about it, and I'm willing to forgive me. But the important thing is the CIA is looking for you. Oh, yeah? Bring them on. I got some stories to tell them about who's been hiding me. Hope you and your family like prison, because that's where you'll be rotting. In prison, that's who. Hey, I'm not screwing around here. My butt is literally on the line. Well, that must be one massive line, because your butt is huge. So, buddy, to protect our family, we must kill a friend. Don't worry, it's not you. I can never be mad at you. Coochie. Made you laugh. Gunn, we've got to track down and kill Roger before the CIA finds him. Oh, Gunn, crack a window! Boy, I really got up in Stan's grill, huh? He was all, come back, and I was all fat-ass carpetbagger.
He had it coming. That family don't give a dixit toot about you. From now on, we are family.
We are, aren't we? Oh, my God. A dynasty exhibit. They must have got my letters. Can we go? Can't wait.
Sounds glorious. Let's get moving, sis. Oh, almost forgot. That's for freeing the slaves, you Negro-loving Yankee devil.
And suddenly things turned ugly. Roger! Hey, boy. Where could he be?
This ain't your corner, bitch. Well, I guess my GPS is out of whack, slut, bitch. Slut, bitch. Slut.
This reminds me of something. Dynasty. CIA, to the Smithsonian. Drive! Wait, this is my car. Even better.
Now, son, here's a fun activity my father taught me. I feel weird washing mom's underwear. Nonsense, we're bonding! They'll bury me in an avalanche of panties. Yeah, a sweaty sports bra.
Mom, you're reading the Bible again. Oh, no. There's an oil spill in the garage. I'm just going to mop it up with Exodus. Hello?
Haley, Roger, got a sec.
Roger? Whoa. Is this one of those Twilight Zone phones where I can talk to the dead, but only with horrible, ironic consequences?
Oh, right, it's past noon. You're already high. Let me talk to the fish.
Oh my God, you're really alive?
Yes, and I've somehow acquired a nasty old racist sidekick. I'm at the Smithsonian. You gotta come get me.
There you are. You send me to get your churro, and then you disappear. Anyway, here's your filthy wetback donut.
Hurry. We tracked the alien here. We need to take it alive so we can punish those who've been hiding it. What if I get to him first? Oh my God, Joan Collins' ball gown. Linda Evans' tennis outfit. Wow, John Forsythe's girdle. Oh, the stories it could tell.
Roger?
Steve, Haley, oh thank God you came.
Roger's alive? It's a miracle!
I knew you couldn't resist the federally funded Dynasty exhibit. Stan, look about that phone call. What are you doing? Say your prayers, space junk.
No! Leave her alone, Whitey!
Damn it, he's getting away. Look where parachute goes.
It's my junior prom all over again. Leave her alone, you two-dollar pine gal whore!
We know you're in that, alien. Come out with your tentacles up.
Dad, you can't just give him up.
That's the CIA out there. It won't stop until they have Roger in custody.
Just make it quick.
No, Roger. Use my children as a shield.
It's no use. They've got me. And if they torture me, I'll crack. I mean, I can't even make it through the afternoon without a freaking mojito. I never want to put my family's safety at risk.
Your family?
Of course. Now, how are we going to do this? I think right here would be most dramatic.
Okay. What's this? Some kind of tear-like substance coming from my eyes.
He's crying.
I'm not a lady.
Stan, having feelings doesn't make you a lady. It makes you human.
We've got to blow this door. Prepare the door, Lord. We really should. Well, it's clear what I have to do. Smith, I've got the alien, sir.
Give it back my wig, you scab-happy red man!
Look how it mimics our language. Well done, Agent Smith. I'm going back to the office and striking the words tool and incompetent. Perhaps you could insert the words lady and not you know, I think we can. It's good to have you back, buddy.
So, Roger, what was heaven like?
Heaven? What the hell are you? Oh, yeah, heaven. No, it was great. Fluffy clouds, unicorns, bubblegum waterfalls, all that crap.
Roger is our little miracle, isn't he, Mom? He sure is. God certainly works in mysterious ways. How big is his last month?
It's official. I closed escrow on my house in Maine. Yeah, Dad, yeah.
Wonder if I was dancing for me. My friend Skippy Yates died.
You're dancing because your friend died?
Well, he was a member of my ham club. Well, that was playing medallions. Those who already know, I authorize usually the The Tabahonic Ham Society is a brotherhood of Southern gentlemen carrying out the great Virginia tradition of curing and aging ham.
Oh my god.
Ham
Okay.
and meat, the same.
Awesome.
As if someone dies. Skip's death is friggin' huge for me. And why? I'll get slightly better ham now. Thanks, Skippy.
What are you doing?
Do you have
A governing body in ham club? Excellent question. We have a president, VP, treasurer, and best job of all.
Oh, fucking Lord.
At that position, open, thanks to the big ring tire that jumped through Skip's windshield.
I was going to ask you, any idea where the bathroom was?
The bathroom at hand club. It's an 18th century outhouse. Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
With a red-eye craving sandwiched between a fresh buttermilk biscuit.
Damn, you mean?
I think I'll turn in. Can I get you tea and coffee to go?
No, thank you. You can put the coffee in proper mugs. We're going to stay.
What's my mom?
Stan, I know this might sound crazy, but I feel like your friend died for a reason. To open up a slot for me in hand club.
You and club? I don't think so.
Why not?
You're not a good fit. By that, I just mean I don't think anyone will love you. Also, you're
Oh.
not ruin all my things.
I ruined everything's things. That's my thing. And now you've ruined it.
Just to join hand club.
Roger.
Mm.
No. Out of his standard staff.
I tried to tell him that, but he gets so emotional. Scattering around his vile nibble.
Does Roger have a relationship with them?
No,
So get him an interview. Let his lack of ham knowledge do the rest.
it's genius. I'm afraid.
Let's have a ring. You coach him so he doesn't jeopardize your reputation with any of his typical Roger dancing.
Thread the needle.
There's nothing easier.
I know what I'm saying on the trucks when you're running out of the vent.
Don't mention it, Stan. The way you shit on me in front of everyone and pretend we don't
Why?
have this special connection.
Why do you hate me?
Tuttle is such a scaredy cat.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
feel scared? Yeah, I've seen like 20 Jeff skins. spell it with a G, a J. If your name's Jeff, you are scared, and I've seen it.
What? Fuck off.
On the other hand, I know that
Okay, close. Jennifer. Oh god, that girl's an asshole. Okay. We just maybe. Yep. Yep. Okay. That's good. Cause yep. Calhoun. I love when my stuff burns. Oh, what? Oh. I think that means we can shit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh jeez. Ew, fuck you. Okay, you know what? You guys are fucked up. Oh, I hate you. You're gross. Fuck off. Oh. Come on. What the fuck is this? Why? This is so dumb. Yes. Oh god, it's so cold. I knew it. I knew it. Shut the fuck up. You're so stupid.
In Quebec, a tattooed man of Latin American origins running down the street is called a neighbor.
Oh, thank you.
We are all Quebecers.
No, it's okay. You're fucking animals.
We have
fucking nuts.
experts tell us that we have a new case the new cases the way this translation is expected to change in the next coming days. This means that the measures we put in place at home is going in the right direction, but we have to remain very careful. The number of hospitalization is still very high,
Oh my god.
and will maybe continue to increase for the next few days. Another important development is about the work that has been done with
It's fucking freezing. Oh my god. Cameron, please close the window. It's so fucking cold.
Amy announced new measures to help workers in our hospital. Last night, the CAP has recommended that we reopen schools next Monday. This is the government. Important, very important for our children. I know that some parents and teachers have been worried that Omicron has less effect on children, especially when they are vaccinated. We also ask everyone to wear the mask at least in the coming weeks. We distribute self-tests in schools, and when there's a one case in a class, a 5 days isolation will be enough. CJEPs and university will also be able to reopen next Monday, and I'm happy to announce that we'll lift the curfew next Monday.
Cameron, close the window.
Vaccination will now be mandatory for large stores of more than 1,500 square meters, except for grocery
I really need to.
I heard you.
Okay.
There's lettuce in there already.
Thank you.
BA.
No, it's fucking so goddamn cold. And I told you. Fucking my win $50. Fucking.
My daughter, she's 5. She has this small, what I think is an adorable, cute button nose, and it was an issue for her where her mask, when she talked, her mouth would always fall out.
Finding one of these masks in Alberta right now is like hitting the jackpot. KN95 masks are in high demand, especially as kids head back to the classroom. Parents are flustered trying to get their hands on the sold-out goods. Tony Sharon, however, is in a different boat.
I kind of was like one of the few times I was proactive, and it was kind of a couple weeks before the holidays where I was like, I think I'm going to try and get some. So I was able to use like a Canadian website that just they had stock in.
Sharon purchased a box of KN95 masks before Christmas, knowing his 8-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter would soon be back in the classroom.
When sort of Omicron, the new variant, came up, and people sort of started to talk about how much more contagious and infectious it was, it sort of made me think.
And was his timing ever good? He says he's lucky to have found them when he did, and is fortunate enough to even be able to afford the costly masks. He plans on ordering more if possible, as his children's classes still haven't received masks the government was supposed to send out the first day back. And on top of that, the masks that have been sent are even medical grade. A warning label reads, "This mask is not a respiratory or surgical mask. It is not FDA cleared." Sharon feeling a slight sense of relief with his mask, but there's still a common theme. Many masks don't fit right on kids.
They fit fairly well on my 8-year-old. They could be a little tighter. They were just like not super tight. You know, they fit okay, but not great. And obviously the recommendations kind of be, it seems to be for any mask, make sure they're as tight as they can be.
So he hit up Google and found these things.
No good. You guys are telling us to put on the mask. I can't handle this.
Our envy of others.
Okay.
It's been revealed that police in Virginia Beach reportedly have been using falsified DNA records in order to force people into confessions.
Huh.
Maybe you're not surprised by that, but this is a big deal. So the practice was first discovered when an attorney requested a copy of DNA evidence in a particular case, and the Department of Forensic Science said, well, you know, that document was faked and it kind of doesn't exist. Let's get into some of those details because State Attorney General Mark Herring opened an investigation of this and discovered that this happened 5 times between 2016 and 2020. Many police.
Oh.
There's this great editorial by Neil Oliver, Scotland, where he says, look at the language, Build Back Better. that exact slogan, exact words being used by Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, Boris Johnson. Like, how did that just happen? Did they have a call about it?
Oh.
Did they share marketing strategies or how did that phrase or the Great Reset, which
Oh.
there was a great editorial by Neil Oliver of Scotland the other day where he says, look at the language built back then. It was that exact slogan, exact words being used by Joe Biden, Justin Trudeau, Boris Johnson. Like, how did that just happen? Did they have a call about it? Did they share marketing strategies or how did that phrase or the Great Reset, which we know where that comes from. That's sort of like a reform. How did these ideas, where do they come from? And I don't think you have to be in a mad fever to say there is some sort of communication and coordination that we are not allowed to observe. Over the last 2 years, I think so much of governing has been done by order rather than through laws debated, vetted public consultations, transcripts, hearings. But that's how it's normally done in a Congress or Parliament. Parliaments and Congresses and the British Parliament in particular hasn't debated or voted on any of these things. They've just been emergency orders issued by bureaucrats that we never even heard of until 18 months ago. And I don't think it's a conspiracy theory to ask the question, how did that pattern, to notice the pattern and say, how did that happen? And you think that journalists have just out of basic curiosity would ask that, but they seem to be the most ardent defenders of these new, ideologies, these global winds around the world.
Yeah, that raises yet another question. Why is that the case as well? And then I agree with you that if the facts on the table raise significant questions. What is the World Economic Forum? What is the intention of the Great Reset? Who is involved? Who knew what and when, to kind of paraphrase the infamous Watergate trials? Because somebody knew something. Did your banker, did the officials of Goldman Sachs who show up to these Davos things, did they know when they signed you a 30-year mortgage that they're going to engage in a Great Reset that looked like it's going to crash currencies and alter inflation as part of the program? Did they know this? Did they know that, I'll put out a video with the World Economic Forum in 2016 says by 2030 you will own nothing and you will be happy. We're selling you a house. Who knew what and when? Why did so many CEOs suddenly resign in 2019? Why is there another wave of CEOs that have been resigning over the past few months in some of the large major corporations? There are sufficient facts on the table now to start asking extraordinarily hard questions, and one of them ties back exactly what you said when Neil Oliver said the phrasing, build back better, coming out of so many mouths all at once, just like the policy for the response to the pandemic was in lockstep and the same for all corners. We don't just have to have talking about the Great Reset, which a narrow window of opportunity in which to do this Great Reset, which that language comes straight out of Klaus Schwab's book, COVID-19
2019, the Great Reset, which he published very rapidly last year after the pandemic, or the year before last after the pandemic started. It was up in summer of 2020. And so we should be asking these questions. Who's evolved? What did they know? And what is the role, for example, a phrase that hasn't been used here, what is the role of these new ESG investment metrics that score corporations and institutions along the lines of environmental, social, and governance scores that are decided by who these exact same kind of elite technocrats who are making these decisions behind closed doors. We already have evidence that we have the social media and big tech companies, and we have the in the United States getting around the Constitution during the bidding of the Democrats and the government, where they can censor people where the government doesn't have the ability to do that, and vice versa. So you can have this very weird, what Klaus Schwab refers to as a public-private partnership between public entities like federal governments and private entities like gigantic corporations who all seem to be on the same page, who all happen to attend the same big club meeting in Davos on the regular, and have a series of commitments that they have to make in order to continue being part of the club. These questions need to be brought to the fore at this point, and it's no longer going to be, after the past 24 months or so, it's no longer sufficient to dismiss these questions by saying that sounds conspiratorial. It sounds like a conspiracy theory. People need to get answers to these questions.
That's an excerpt from my daily show.
Fast.
There are many.
Okay, this is.
Previously on 1,000 pound sister.
No, oh my fucking god. Okay. You guys are fucked up. You guys are gonna be so
In
fucked
Quebec,
up.
a tattooed man of Latin American origins running down the street is called a neighbor. We are all Quebecers.
Men. Death machine.
Asking Quebecers to believe it's better when you say that the virus this wave has reached its peak. For the last few days and weeks, the government has been criticized as not following science for some of the decisions you've been taking. So I wanted to ask you today, what is the science telling you? What is the evidence? Because we don't seem to know how many cases there are. We don't seem to know what the projections are. And what is the evidence that you can show us and the measures to show us that and explain to us if the peak has been taken?
There's some projections given by experts at this or ISPT, definitely the chance of discussing even the last few hours, yesterday evening, to look at the projections given the number of cases of hospitalization that are in place right now. So we observe that kind of rapid increase coming. It is not a surge to treat yet, so there are still uncertainties in the players said that, as the ministry said that we might expect this to get higher and do not confirm right now that the peak has been We just expect it as being done for the number of infections in the last few days. This is the first so confused. We have to wait to control it. And the most important way to look at it right now is to look at the hospitalization rate. This those increases in the last few days or weeks are getting lower and lower. And we have to be careful with the hospitalization and specifically in the intensive care unit and the unit that there's it's still increasing, but it's not an increase that is as strong as it was in weeks in the last week. So with that in mind, we do think that there might be a near future speculation that the peak was a few days ago, infection and for hospitalization in the near future.
Yours.
Good
afternoon, everyone. Listen, first I'd like to begin by thanking Dr. Ruda, who resigned yesterday. He gave everything that he had over the past 22 months. And of course, I spent a lot of time with him. I spoke with him one-on-one on
Well, it's November 1st.
Good evening. It's the story that is still going on this week, even tonight, as residents of one Florida town are afraid to go to sleep in their beds for fear a new sinkhole could swallow them up. We'll have more details on
Every day, I pray that someday I'll heal.
Mary Court Jackson hasn't seen her daughter since mid-November and fears for her safety. The Regina educational assistant says her ex-husband, Michael Jackson, took the girl away to prevent her from being vaccinated against COVID-19. She has no idea where they are.
She's only 7, and to live in hiding is not a good thing for her. She wanted, her right. It's her right to live in freedom, and she just needs to be, to be home.
Coming out of
one heart.
We're actually
Spin.
It's been revealed that
In 2012, an Oregon mother opened up a package of Halloween decorations. The cheap foam headstone had been $5 at Kmart. Too good a deal to pass up. But when she opened the box, something shocking fell out. An SOS letter handwritten in broken English.
Sir, if you occasionally buy this product, please kindly resend this letter to the World Human Rights Organization. Thousands of people here who are under the persecution of the Chinese Communist Party government will thank and remember you forever.
In Made in China, a prisoner and SOS letter, the hidden cost of America's cheap goods, investigative journalist Amelia Pang uses extensive interviews and first-hand reporting to pull back the curtain on the imprisoned Chinese man behind the note, ultimately shining light on again one of the forced Chinese labor camps and exposing the true cause of America's rapidly growing consumerism and high demand for cheap goods. Amelia joins us now to expand. Welcome to Horizon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure, thanks so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about the journey that this set off?
Right. So it turns out the author of this chilling SOS letter was one of millions of forced laborers in China, manufacturing all kinds of products for us. So my book explored who he was, how people like him landed in these types of labor camps, what their experiences were like there, but also the failures of the way.
And then a quick question about reopening and vaccine passports. There is a restaurant owner who wants to reopen on January 30th. No vaccine passport, full capacity. I mean, obviously he can be ticketed or whatever, but people are getting impatient. They want restaurants to open. They want gyms to open. What is your plan going forward for people getting impatient?
Well, I think as the leader said earlier, we understand that people want to work out as quickly as possible.
Then I just look, it says she's in.
When Omicron hit and we saw numbers rising in our community very quickly, I think that really prompted people to kind of look and go, we do need a third dose.
His own father? On the lighter side? Who the hell's writing this?
Nearly 2 years into living with COVID-19, there is a definite Hi, so it's Dr. Fox, licensed psychologist in the state of Texas, and today we're going to talk about opportunity versus concern. And these are situations for those that are along the BPD spectrum to take advantage of opportunities that may help you increase your sense of self-awareness, increase your sense of self-control, as well as to increase your awareness of concerns that may come up, of issues that may come up that encourage maladaptive patterns.
That's my underpants. Oh, they hurt like you stepped on.
Tacos. That's awesome.
Well, I think about doing tacos.
You slip tacos. If they just put everything away though.
Oh, my face is so itchy all of a sudden. He's a weed. Oh, every time I like fucking rub weed near, like, or I have a weed residue on my fingertips or whatever, it's just like everything I touch after gets itchy.
Maybe you're allergic to weed.
My mom is. My mom's allergic to hemp.
Mm. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
What? Oh, fuck that movie. Fuck Tim Allen. Fucking great. What the hell? Can you touch my screen? Please? Thank you. Just touch it. Sorry.
Oh, I'm not gonna have a cigarette. I was going to, but no, fuck that.
Itchy.
You can go wash your face a bit.
No.
Well, then. It's, it'll help.
But I like doing things the hard way. Okay.
Last week, Grand Chief Settee released a statement asking all Northern Manitoban First Nations community members to consider getting vaccinated in the wake of the ever-contagious Omicron variant. Here in Winnipeg, vaccination rates among the First Nations community has seen a significant increase. Marion McKenzie, who helps with the vaccination plan. True North has broken an unbelievable story.
Dude, this goes on. We're just trying to say something over and over. Okay.
Global News has learned a Canadian has just been arrested by the Taliban in Afghanistan.
I don't care. Oh my god, please. Oh my god.
In Quebec, when application of the hospital because of COVID-19 are called here.
Fucking duck.
We are all Quebecers.
Rafi, when you think about Canadian oil stocks versus international equivalents, are Canadian oil sands more attractive?
Yeah, so when you take the industry and you break it out the way really we see it, which is, I guess, more geeky than your average investor might look at energy, we see oil as multiple different things. And one of them is this heavy oil sands. And heavy oil is a grade of oil. Oil sands is a quality of oil too, but it requires a little more heroic effort to get that to move and flow. And refineries are spec to be able to take this heavy oil and break it out into different products that we all use. And there are refineries in the U.S.
Are you okay?
that are built.
Yeah. Did I do something here?
I can't see your hand knife.
Oh, fuck, it hurts.
Oh, what the hell? Okay.
Sure.
Want to do it?
Yes. Fuck, it hurts.
Okay, let's go. Not slow, but. You can.
I just scratched it.
I can see that. What the hell? It looks like you already got where you want to go.
Oh, did
It
I?
looks like Kale or like you're on the way. Right. Oh. that right there.
has been an issue primarily because of our pipeline issues, but also because of the solution project in places. Now our pipeline issues are being fixed, and slowly, and these other supplies are not showing up, and that means it's a very favorable business. So that's why it becomes something like settlements. A lot of this stuff needs to take you out in your funds.
Well, rinse your face off at least.
Oh,
Your skin
oh,
is
go
smooth.
away. That's not me. I think we pulled everything out in one shot.
Today?
And then it's like a little.
Like, I was just scratching my back.
Question and answer it, and I come back with it pretty much unanimously.
Yeah, I think Lucy got it all.
Okay.
Hang on, let me make sure that I do it. Oh, jeez.
And hence the price, I think, is going to keep going higher. First of all,
This is
we have really pulled back our spending on our current supply, and that has not really been understood, the impact of the super majors that are cutting their spending in these years. They will place by 60-70% over the last 5 years. That will have
that's it.
impact on supply.
This is blood.
That does concern me because we just won't have it.
Ooh, fuck that burn.
I
I was just like fucking scratching myself and then I fucking felt it. Like,
How's it going to my butt? Like, tweet in your face.
thank you.
Welcome.
You come to bed today?
Yeah. I just wanted to eat food first. Okay. Oh, so edgy. Cause you don't. I can't say all this stuff with you. Like, you get all pissy. Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. I know. I just cannot think about it and not touch it. Oh.
But the developing world, this is what is the bigger issue, and that is just simply, we were in a position where we could have helped them through COVID, and we could have pushed for more vaccinations, and we could have pushed. Instead, what they got from us was COP26, where they said, "Hey, we need you to stop using oil at the pace you're using it." That panic, I think, and you've seen relationships between Russia and China and India, for instance, in the Q4 this year. You're going to see more of that, and these are groups that are realizing they have to bring back and grow their economy. And they're going to do it using oil because we have no alternative. So I think it just bodes well for the long term. Maybe those are just a few ways I look at it, and there's probably multiple other ways we can spend hours talking about it.
When you think about natural gas producers, who stands out for you? Who is attractive to you?
Remember, Canada is a heavy oil producer.
First day class.
Health has also had to adapt to the face of the explosive spread of multiple cases.
are exactly 3 weeks away from the start of the Beijing Winter Olympics. Right now, the Omicron wave seems like we will be on the headlines with 3 Canadian Olympians going to see how they're preparing and from the same free. She is the skillful Canada's men's curling team that returns to Olympic night.
There aren't long lineups inside this Toronto vaccine clinic anymore. Just people slowly trickling in, most for a third dose.
I have my booster. My mom has my booster, and all of the family has the booster.
A new ongoing study out of Ontario finds mRNA vaccines are 93% effective at protecting against